Hi, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of People of Clubhouse. My guest today is a very special guest. He is an Emmy Award winner, cancer survivor, and champion of champions. Réal Andrews, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here, and I appreciate you calling me a champion of champions. I call everybody a champion, as you know, but I don't get that too much. So
And
I really,
championistas, for the women, like I told you. I invented that. I had to
yes,
copyright
you
that.
did. Yeah, and if you notice on my Clubhouse, it's my new thing. So thank
Okay.
you.
So everyone, yeah, we're cooperating on this now. So fantastic. You people would know you from General Hospital, Real, and you won an Emmy for Days of Our Lives, right?
Actually, I've won the main Emmy that I won was for the Bay, the series.
Okay.
But we, as a team, we won several Emmys with GH and the Bay as well. But the main one was with the Bay, the series. I didn't get one with Days of Our Lives, no.
Okay, but hopefully we'll see you more and more receiving more and more awards soon, especially also for your amazing podcast. We'll get to that in a minute. The peak of your life, the moment of your life, of your career, is when you received the Emmy, or when? Which was the best moment of your career as an actor?
You know, I immediately had an answer for you because it's new, but then you put an actor
No,
on
okay,
the
so
end of it.
okay, we
So,
remove that. Tell me the peak of your life, the fantastic moment of your life.
I'll answer both for you, Sahar. So
Okay, sure.
we'll start with the actor because that's easy. The biggest peak for me as an actor was getting the part on General Hospital. I
Okay.
mean, it basically was a 26-year overnight success.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's a journey, and we always joke about that because, as you know, Sahar, people they don't see the struggles. They don't see the challenge. They only see the victory, which is why I do my
Exactly.
podcast. But yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I remember times not back in the day when you would buy a stamp for 25 cents, not having 25 cents to get a stamp to send a letter home to my mom.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the day that I got General Hospital was the greatest day for me as an actor, hands down for sure.
It meant a new
Um,
door opening for you, a new life, a chance at life, right?
yeah, I mean, it was, a confirmation and on all my hard work. It was a confirmation on the day when I sat there when everybody told me and laughed at me and told me that I would never do it and stay in your lane and there's no work for black actors. It was a big moment on many levels, and it was like, a lot of hard work and grinding, a lot of sacrifices, a lot,
And it was
so
only 3%. You told me last time that had the chance. People told you only 3% of African American actors would make it in Hollywood. Is that correct?
no, what I said, Sahar, the correct thing was at that time, this was in 1981.
Okay.
And it may still be the same, but they said SAG is the union for actors, okay? And they said to me when they were laughing at me, they said, listen, less than 3% of actors that are in the SAG union
Okay.
even make a living. Now, what does that living mean? Is that living, so that's, but that's what they said. And then they said, and which was true at the time. And they said, and there's no work for black actors. I mean, it was like, the Mario Van Peebles and his father were working. Of course, Sidney Poitier was coming up in the days, but there wasn't a lot. So,
No.
but that's what I was told. And I immediately said in my head, I said, because I never really saw black and white, to be honest with you. I didn't see that till later in my years because my parents didn't bring me up that way. So that kind of didn't hit me. But the the less than 3% did, and in my head I was like, okay, then I'm going to be part of that 3%.
Okay.
That was just my knee-jerk reaction.
Okay. And it was
You know,
anger a driver? Like, listening to you talk now, when people laughed at you, no, you can't do it. Only this few people who are going to succeed and whatever. When you got angry that they laughed at you, was that a driving force for you to succeed and prove them wrong, or prove yourself bigger than the odds?
Yes and no, and I'll say it to you this way, Sahar. I didn't get angry. Okay, I got fired up.
Fired up. Okay.
There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. It like when from as far back as I could remember. Whenever you told me I couldn't, and especially even now today, I love it so much. I'll be like, please, somebody tell me I can't do it. Please,
challenge me.
Because I just get, please, somebody tell me no, because it like literally turns me on. I get a smile on my face, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. So it more back then. I'll say it did drive me. But now it more fuels me. Yes. I'm more driven by my why and my why behind my why. What am I fighting for personally, and who am I fighting for? But it fuels me now, for sure.
When you interviewed me for your podcast, we talked a lot about narcissism, and that's a theme that people always attach to celebrities and work in the media and work in front of cameras and so on. Is that what you felt?
Well, once again, as we talked in your show, I didn't feel that because I didn't know what narcissism was. I didn't even know that was a big word for me. I don't think.
But then, did you see it around you, like in the surround? Is the culture itself? Was the culture narcissistic, focused on the person?
Well, now that I understand what that means, absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
But coming up, I didn't know that. I just thought, and as we talked about, the first time I ever heard, as we talked on the podcast, the first time I ever heard the word narcissism or narcissist, was from my amazing wife, and her saying, You're a narcissist. It's always about you. It's me. And it was. But as I learned from you, and I actually shared that with my wife, and she has a therapist background, so she was excited about our conversation.
Oh, amazing!
Said, there is different levels. But when I shared with her that actually, as you shared with me, there's actually healthy narcissism. Actually, to be an actor or to be successful, you have to have a certain degree of narcissism, which I learned from you. This is new for me.
Thank
I
you.
Just knew this.
Thank you.
I didn't know that before last week, but now I know, and that kind of made me feel better.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Yeah. And it makes Mrs. Andrews feel better, and I'd love to talk to her eventually. So I'm happy that she's happy. So amazing. So okay. So now we are in the stage of your life where you are at the top of your career, where you feel you're on top of the world, you are the person, and then suddenly, boom, crash. What happened?
Well, before I answer that, if I could, Sahar, I do want to answer because I think it's important.
Yes.
You asked me what was the biggest victory of my life to date.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and this just happened on my birthday. January 31st. So, because of the life that I've lived with, like literally, I've been married 20 years. I'm sober 2 years this past Christmas.
Wow. Congratulations.
So, thank you. So basically, for 18 years of my marriage, I was a lunatic, raving, out of control, drug addict and alcoholic. And anybody who knows anything about that, that's certainly not health. Now, of course, I did not see that because when you're in it, you don't see it.
Yes.
But the damage and the fallout that it cost my relationship with my kids and my wife, my family, on so many levels, and we can talk more about because that's a whole, hour, 2 hours.
We'll talk about that definitely at length later.
Yeah. But what happened, the most specific thing we talked about was my middle son, Nathan. I remember sitting in AA, and you celebrate birthdays in AA.
Okay.
And there was a gentleman. He came in. It was his birthday, 5 year sobriety, and they talk about these things called the promises. And if they say the promises, all this stuff will come true if you just stay and blah blah blah. And I remember he had his family come to support him on his birthday, and I just sat there and I was like, wow, because that was not a reality for me. That was not something that I could ever see, that my family would come to support me and celebrate me, because we were so toxic and so damaged, specifically my middle son, to the point that it was verbal abuse, physical abuse. He hated me. He would let me know he hated me. He would wish death upon me. He would tell me I'm going to die alone. He never came out of his room for any of my any celebrations, any birthdays. He was never around. He never gave me any presents, never gave me any cards, nothing, ever. And this past birthday, my 58th birthday, I get up early in the morning, and like I do, and I hear this like young kid's voice, like a little kid, "Oh, Dad!" And out comes my son Nathan.
Wow.
And he just like comes to me and he gives me a big hug, and like he wouldn't even let go. And then he hands me a card, and it was a handwritten card, and just the words from his heart of, yes, I get it, we're challenged. Yes, I get it, we have struggles, but I have appreciated you. I do see how hard you've worked. And that, to me, hands down, is my biggest victory to life. Sure.
Amazing. Absolutely. Of course, family is the most important thing. Congratulations for that. And I'm happy for you to be sober 2 years. You're very brave to be able to admit this publicly like this, and give an example, an actual example to young people listening to us now, to never go down that path, no matter how glitzy and exciting it might look. It actually is a very destructive road at the end, because it gets to your soul. I remember you told me that it's if the devil had a drug, then that would be it.
Oh yeah, like my choice of my main choice was cocaine back in the day. I even did crystal meth and stuff. And now knowing what I know about crystal meth, it's amazing that with my personality, I was able to get that. God certainly had my back on that one, because that's amazing to me that I did not go way down and die.
Yeah,
on
you're
that
very
one.
lucky. Yeah, very lucky that you did not, because it's very damaging, obviously.
Yeah, really damaging. But, as I was sharing with you, when I was struggling, and we're talking, years, to me, this is what my life looked like. I would go party for 4 or 5 days, and then I would have enough and say, that's it, I'm stopping. I would get back in the gym, because the gym was my thing. I would work out for 2 or 3 days, and in my head, see, I can do it. I got it. I can stop anytime. I'm feeling better. And then I would be back out. I mean, out in for years.
Wow.
And yeah, like that was it. That was me. And it was very clear to me, Sahar, when I look back, and even when I was in it. And this is how I know that God had a bigger calling for me, because, because the minute I would just have my first bump, we call it a bump, it would get black. It would get dark. I hated myself. I didn't like, but I couldn't stop. But I just hated every instant of it. It wasn't fun for me, and it was initially.
Yeah, but you're hooked. You're attached to it. You can't stop. You fall down this dark pit, and you can't get out.
And what was really apparent to me, it was really black and white. When I was partying, it was black. I would literally see like demons, like The Walking Dead. It was like people would come out of nowhere. And then when I was up, it was all white, and I would see different. You never saw the same people on the same journey. And I always said, because here's why. I always said, if there was and there is a devil. So that's what I used to say back then. Now I know, hands down. So the devil, his drug is cocaine, because as as amazing of a place I'm in right now, because I've been sober for 2 years. I haven't done cocaine probably for since I've been married. I haven't done cocaine
Very
for over
good.
20 years. But so when for me, like, it's the difference between like alcohol or opioids or other stuff. It's like, that I was addicted to that, but when I was doing cocaine, like, for example, as amazing of a place that I'm in right now, the values that I have right now, the personal growth that I've come, the integrity that I have right now, if I was to do one bump right now,
You go right
in
back.
an instant, I would do 360. I would think
Oh
different.
my
I would
God.
say something. I would lie, cheat, steal. I would become a completely different person, in an instant, just like that.
I
It's
hope everybody
amazing how it
listening to
changes your
us,
personality.
I
Huh?
definitely hope everybody listening to us will be taking this very seriously. Parents, to look after the children, young people, teenagers, young women and men. I hope you're listening, and I hope you understand that this is a very dangerous path that you should never go down to. And Rial, you actually help people who want to be helped. I love the quotes you share about believing in people until they believe in themselves. And that's why you call them champions. I really love that message that you convey through your amazing podcast. Um, when people contact you, if people contact you who are listening to us now, what would you like them to offer you to cooperate on or to ask of you?
I would I would ask that two things. They go to my website, www.realandrews.com.
And I'll share it in the video.
And
I'll share it in the description
and
of the video. Yes.
yeah, and book a podcast session with me, or ask me to be on your podcast, because the main thing about my podcast is my pastor said once, Jesus doesn't need any more, and whatever religion you leave, your higher power doesn't need any more preachers, rabbis, whatever it is in your culture. It needs more champions like us to get up, to stand up, to speak up, and to share your story. So I believe
Yes.
everybody has a story, and my mission is to get your story out there. So because somebody needs to hear it, a lot of people need to hear it. That's number one. Number two, if you are looking for some coaching, or even if you just want to spend 20 minutes with me absolutely free, and let me speak life over you, if you don't believe in yourself, that would be amazing. And the third one is just follow me on my Instagram at Réal Andrews, all
And
my
right here
social
on
media.
Clubhouse, there are people can
Mhm.
have a lot of value added on Clubhouse. You're in many rooms,
Yep.
you're moderating, we can hear you talk. So yeah, you and many other wonderful people right here. And this is exactly what we're doing right now, pointing to the interesting people to follow and the interesting people to get help from and to cooperate with. So it's amazing what you're doing. I really admire you for your strength and your courage. And I wish you all the best of luck on your journey. And I hope you hold on to the light. Stay on the light side. Don't go back to the dark side, please.
Oh, I ain't going back to the dark side, trust me. But thank you
Okay.
for speaking
I'll
that
take
over
your
me.
word on it. Thank you so much, Rial, for joining me today. It's been fantastic talking to you. And please give my best regards to your lovely wife and your family. And I hope to be speaking with you again very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless.
God bless you too. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Sahar and I'm done speaking.